Hey, I'm Matthew Burke, founder and president of Tent Can Incorporated. I'm standing in for Bob Calvert at Talking with Heroes. Today on the show we have Captain David Folkerts from Healing Waters. And we wanted to find out a little bit more about what Healing Waters does through the R4 Alliance. Captain Folkerts?
Sure. Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing. I'll talk a little bit about our history and where we're at and how we got to where we are today, and a little bit about myself and my involvement with it. Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing. Our mission is we're dedicated to the recovery of wounded and disabled service members and wounded disabled veterans through the sport of fly fishing, fly tying, and associated activities. We first got started back around 2004 timeframe at Walter Reed in Washington, D.C. Retired Navy Captain Ed Nicholson was there undergoing some of his own recovery, and he saw the wounded, disabled service members that were coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and he got the idea that I bet they like to go fly fishing. So that's kind of how it got started. And the staff at Walter Reed realized that it was working. It was having a really positive effect on the service members that were going out and doing these activities. So fast forward, they realized that they wanted to put together a nonprofit and spread it to other areas. Since Walter Reed, we've established over 200 programs across the nation, where what we call a program is a partnership between Project Healing Waters, our organization. We partner with fly fishing clubs like Trout Unlimited, Federation of Fly Fishers, and independent clubs. And we go to military facilities like a Warrior Transition Unit, a military hospital, and we also go to VA facilities, medical centers, VA outpatient clinics, places like that, wherever the wounded disabled service members and wounded disabled veterans are. And we do, what really separates us from a lot of other nonprofits is that we do not just one-time events. We're focused on the long-term relationship. So a lot of our programs are meeting up on a, if not weekly basis, a bi-weekly or a monthly basis, where we have Fly Fishing 101, fly tying, rod building, and just continual instructional classes in regards to fly fishing. So it creates, we don't ever advertise it as it, but it really creates a essentially camaraderie, a group. We don't ever say group therapy, but in many ways it is. It's a group support group system. When we say the Project Healing Waters family, we really mean it. All the veterans love being around each other. They love being around the volunteers. And our organization has just done a lot of really good work. A little bit more about how I got involved with it.
I was getting ready to ask, please.
So how I got involved with it. I'm, as you mentioned, I was captain in the Army. When I was a young lieutenant, I was deployed to Iraq in 2005. And not more than a month after I got there, one of my first missions, I was wounded by an IED pretty severely. Got close to dying. I mean, I really lost a lot of blood. It was a real difficult experience. I was medevaced back through Germany to Walter Reed, eventually to Walter Reed in D.C., and I did my recovery there. And during my recovery, I got introduced to Project Healing Waters. In fact, I'm amongst the first participants in the program. Not the very first, but I was amongst the first individuals that got to partake in the program. I never fly fished in my life before. I grew up in Nebraska, so it was a pretty foreign concept to me, because I grew up with a cane pole or with a Zebco rod, catching bass or bullheads and carp and things like that. And my left hand at the time was completely paralyzed due to my injuries that I sustained from the IED blast. And but I had a buddy that just kept on bothering me. He said, "Hey, you got to come out and try it. You got to come out and try it." And he had messed up his right arm and right hand. So I saw him being able to do it. I was like, well, I can do it. I can do it too. So I did give it a try. I learned how to cast. I learned how to reel in my line. Went on my first fishing outing with them, and I caught a brook trout. I remember pulling that thing out of the water, and it was like one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. If you ever look up a brook trout. Those fish are absolutely beautiful. But no pun intended, but I was literally hooked. I fell in love with fly fishing, and it did a lot of good for me during that time, which I would consider it was definitely I was in a dark place and in a bad place at that time. They also sent me on a trip to Montana, where I got to go down the Smith River for a week-long camping and floating trip. It's over 55 miles of just pure wilderness in Montana, and being able to have that experience and have I was on that trip with 8 other wounded or disabled vets, and be able to experience that and catch fish, that really flipped the switch in my head and got me away from focusing on all the negative things, the bad things that happened in my life, and got me focusing on positive. So I came back from that experience, and I just wanted to give back to the program as much as possible. So I started volunteering and not just being a participant, getting other disabled vets involved in the program, wounded soldiers into the program. Fast forward to January of 2008, I was medically retired, and a couple months later, Project Healing Waters just kept growing and growing, and they needed to hire some staff, so I was the second full-time staff person hired, and I've been working for them for over 8 years now. And it's just truly amazing to see us come from that one location in Walter Reed to now we're nationwide. We have a program in Germany. We got affiliates in Canada that's their own program, and they work with Canadian veterans, and we got affiliate in Australia that works with Australian veterans. It's just really amazing to see what we have been able to accomplish. And in many ways, what motivates me to do this is that I felt like my military career was cut short due to my injuries, and I feel like now that I'm serving through Project Healing Waters, I feel like I'm still taking care of troops and taking care of veterans through what I do, and it's really fulfilling, and being able to see the end product of what we do and what we are able to accomplish is incredible. And we have an organization of just incredible volunteers, over 3,500 volunteers total. Last year we served around 7,400 disabled service members and disabled veterans, and yeah, it's incredible. It's been awesome.
So as a disabled veteran, wounded in action, a lot of vets who have undergone such circumstances, they feel very destructive in nature. By all means, we're taught to be destructive in nature as combat troops. How do you feel that Project Healing Waters and the R4 Alliance as a coalition helped you go from being destructive to constructive?
Good question. I guess I'm not sure how to exactly answer that, but I think the best way for me to answer that would be not one program is going to be the cure-all or is going to meet every need, whether for the service member or for a caregiver, family member, things like that. I think it's important for organizations that are like-minded. Example, obviously, we're the R4 Alliance and all the our members and nonprofits that are a part of that. It's important for us to collaborate, and it's important for us to support each other and to realize that just one organization isn't going to get the mission accomplished of helping all of disabled veterans and all of the caregivers and family members, and be able to take a cooperative approach to do that is the best way forward, I think. Absolutely. So I'm not exactly sure if I answered the question correctly.
You did. In a nutshell, basically what we're looking at here at the R4 Alliance is almost like a Department of Defense construct, in that everybody in that branch of the armed forces, and every branch of the armed forces has their specialty. The Navy has their specialty, the Army, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. We all have our specialties, and one without the other lacks the total fitness of accomplishing the mission. Well, you heard it right here, folks. Put down the drugs, put down the medications, put your canes down, pick up the rods and reels, get the fishing, get the recovering, be revived. I'm Matthew Burke with Talking with Heroes and Tin Can Incorporated with my now good friend, Captain you would think I'd have his name memorized. He's my good friend, Captain Folkerts. You know, Folkerts.
We'll edit that.
Yeah. All right. Check. I'm out.